Adanna was a sight to behold. Tall, elegant, and beautifully sculpted, she moved with a kind of grace that made people stop and stare. Her skin was a deep, rich brown, smooth like polished mahogany, and her body, God took his time. Her curves were in all the right places. Her long legs were straight and firm. Her waist was narrow, and the large breasts on her chest stood proudly like two ripe fruits waiting to be plucked. Women envy her figure, men admire her, and strangers couldn't help but take a second look whenever she walked by. But Adanna didn't care about any of that. There was just one thing she wanted in this life: hair, long hair. Adanna was born bad, not just that type of badness where a child is born without hair but later grows it. No, hers was permanent. From the moment she entered this world, her head was as smooth as a freshly peeled egg, and it never changed. No amount of oil, cream, or miracle hair growth treatment worked. Her mother, desperate for a cure, had taken her to pastors, native doctors, and even science labs, but the answer was always the same: nothing is wrong with her. Some people are just like this. So Adanna grew up wearing scarves, caps, and wigs. Anything that hide her head, because to her, beauty meant hair. Adanna was obsessed with long hair, flowing hair. She envied girls who could swing their long flowing hair. She admired girls who could pack their hair into a ponytail, braid it into thick cornrows, or let it fall down their back like a waterfall. She spent hours on Instagram scrolling through pictures of girls with waist-length Brazilian wigs or thick afro curls, wishing, praying that she could wake up one morning with a full head of hair. She loved mermaids too, not because of their tails, but because of their glorious hair. God, why did you create me like this? She often whispered to herself at night. She was beautiful, yes. Every night she prayed, God, just give me hair. That's all I asked. But God didn't answer. But what was the use of all this beauty if she couldn't even grow hair like a normal girl? She always thought to herself. But even though she hated her baldness, the world didn't seem to care. People still admired her, even with her head covered. Men still flirted with her, even when she avoided eye contact. Women still complimented her beauty, even when she wore plain clothes. It annoyed her. Why are they looking at me? She often thought. I don't even have hair. One day, her friend Ifeoma got tired of her complaints and said, Adanna, you have something most girls don't have. And what is that? Adanna scoffed. Ifeoma smiled. A body that turns head, a face that doesn't even need hair to be beautiful. You don't need long hair to be a queen, you already won. But Adanna didn't believe her. How could she? There was only one thing she wanted in this life: hair, long hair. She was born bad, and no matter what she did, her head remained as smooth as an egg. Then came Chike. The day they met, she was in a supermarket reaching for a loaf of bread when she heard his deep voice. "Excuse me, miss. I don't mean to be rude, but you are breathtaking." She turned sharply and choked. He was tall, dark, and handsome, with a well-groomed beard and a confident smile. She frowned. "Excuse me? I said you are breathtaking." Adana scoffed. "Oh, please stop joking. I am serious," he said. "I've seen beautiful women before, but you, there is something about you." She rolled her eyes and walked away. But before she left the supermarket, she felt someone tap her shoulder. It was him again, Chike. "Sorry, but I just have to ask, would you have dinner with me sometime?" She almost laughed. Dinner? With her? A bad girl? She was about to say no when she looked into his eyes and saw something strange. He wasn't lying. Adana agreed to dinner. Over time, she got to know Chike. He was an architect, a gentleman. He works with an international multipurpose firm, and most of all, he adored her. One night as they sat in his car, Chike took her hands in his and said, "Adana, have you ever considered entering a beauty pageant?" Her heart stopped. "Me?" She scoffed. "Chike, stop joking." "I am serious," he said. "There is a pageant coming up. I think you could win." Adana let out a dry laugh. "A bad girl in a beauty contest? Why not?" Chike said, staring deep into her eyes. "You are the most stunning woman I've ever seen. You don't need long hair to be beautiful. Adana, you already are." Chike further explained that she didn't need to come stand on a runway for the contest. All she needed was to send her beautiful pictures to a link he will provide for her later. The best photos will be selected at the end of the contest. "You are too beautiful and you look like an African queen, and I think you'll be perfect for the arts contest." "Oh, just that? You mean it?" Adana asked, but she didn't believe him about winning the contest with her bad head. She would never feel beautiful until she had hair. And so she did something foolish. Late one night, Adana went to the river where it was said the mermaid goddess dwelled. It was a place of dark magic where people go to whisper witches to the goddess, but the witches came at a price. Adana knelt by the water and whispered, "Mother of the river, I have come." The river began to bubble. A soft haunting voice floated through the river. "What do you seek, child?" Adana swallowed hard. "I want hair. Long, beautiful hair like yours." From the depth of the water, the mermaid rose. She was stunning. Her glowing skin, piercing eyes, and glorious waist-length hair sway as though touched by an invisible wind. How dare you ask of the only thing that made me stand out? The mermaid asked with stern-looking face. I can give you hair, child, but I required an exchange. What can you give me in return? Adana's breath caught in her throat. What do you want in return? The mermaid's smile widened. Your breasts. I want your large pointing breasts. Adana froze. What? The mermaid eyes gleamed. Your pointed large breasts, I love them. Adana's hands flew to her chest. She hesitated. She had always been proud of her breasts. But what was beauty without hair for her? The mermaid stretched out her hand. Choose, child, hair or breasts. Adana took a deep breath. I choose hair. The mermaid laughed softly and placed a cold wet hand on Adana's forehead. A sudden chill rushed through her body. Her scalp tingled, and then hair, long, thick, and silky. It tumbled down her back past her waist. Beautiful, flowing, shining, silky hair. Tears filled Adana's eyes. She had done it. She was finally beautiful with long, flowing silk hair. She thanked the river goddess and brought out her phone and requested she take a snap with the mermaid. She accepted and snapped. But something felt wrong. Adana looked down at her chest. They were flat. Flat. Her once proud full breasts were gone, replaced by a smooth, featureless chest. The mermaid transformed into a bad but radiant goddess with large pointed breasts. Immediately, she swam into the depths of the river, and countless male mermaids floated on the river in her admirations. They were bewildered at her new transformations of the goddess and showered praises on her. Some were professing love, and they fought over her heart. Adana was not comfortable with the exchange anymore. She has sent pictures for the contest to the link right there in the river. Mission accomplished. The mermaid can take back her hair and return hers. Adana rushed back to the river, stood before it and began to call on the river goddess. When she appeared, she told her she was done with her hair, that she can go ahead and undo the exchange. The river goddess roared out a mocking laughter. Those with buttocks do not know how to sit with it, she said, and dived back into the river. Adana continued calling and crying until she appeared the second time. The river goddess warned her to stop disturbing the feast of our marriage going on in the sea. She revealed that she has been seeking means to attract husband for herself, for ages. But no one came even with her long hair. But the moment she got her body and her bald hair, suitors pour like rain. She later dismissed her and asked her to come back in 2 months' time for the exchange. By then, her marriage rites will be completed in the sea. Adanna left feeling robbed. Although she had her dream long hair, but her body looked strange. The curves that once made people stop and stare were gone. She had traded one beauty for another, and suddenly she realized she had made a mistake. While on her way home from the river, her phone rang. It was from the company she applied for the contest. Her picture had won. She was invited to come to a particular location for a shoot and for signing of the contract. But there was a clause. She must appear as she was in the picture that won the contest. When she saw the picture, her heart raced and felt sudden pressed. Hot sensations moved all over her body. It was the picture she took with the mermaid. It was sent by mistake. But the company had cropped off her image with the long hair and chose the bald head image. That was the winner. Her body on the body of the river mermaid won the contest. Her bald head, her pointed large breast on the body of the mermaid won. In a moment, her phone rang. This time it was Chike. Baby girl, congratulations. Thanks. Adanna stammered. You know, I didn't tell you I am the one in charge of the contest. The moment I saw you in the supermarket and while on the date, I said to myself, this is the face we need for the African face show on our brand. And the moment you sent your picture, they all loved it. I'll be waiting for you tomorrow at the annex bar for the shoot. From there, I'll go shower you with love. Chike ended the call. And when Chike saw Adanna the next day, his jaw dropped. Adanna, is this you? Your hair, your body, what happened? She smiled, flipping her new hair over her shoulder. Do you like it? Chike didn't smile back. He looked at her chest, his eyebrow furrowed in confusion. What happened to them? The large oranges there. Adanna's heart pounded. Nothing, she lied, forcing a laugh. I just lost a little weight. Oh, Chike knew. His gaze softened and he whispered, You gave something away for this, didn't you? Adanna's smile faltered. Tears burned her eyes. Chike, I thought this was what I needed to feel beautiful, but now I don't know anymore. He reached out and touched her hair. It is lovely, Adanna, but it's not what made you beautiful. His fingers gently touched her face. It was always you. The day I saw you, it was you who attracted me, not your hair. I love how cheaply your chest stood out and it turned my hair. It turned my neck. I love how natural your head was bad and it brought out the African queen in you. When will you, the young ladies, come to understand that everyone is created and endowed differently? I am sorry, we cannot go on with the deal. Your current features do not qualify for it, Chike said and walked away feeling betrayed. That night, Adana stood before her mirror, staring at the stranger she had become. She had hair, but she had lost herself. She touched her chest and whispered, "What have I done?" And for the first time in her life, she wished to be barred again. 2 months were like 2 years. It refused to come, but it finally came. And very early in the morning, Adana ran to the river to wait for the mermaid to rise from the river. But she never did. She was nowhere to be found. She sat near the river and wept from morning till noon, but there was no answer. Adana was later advised to come with sacrifices to the river. Perhaps the river goddess might have change of heart. On the night of the sacrifice, the river goddess floated, but she only spoke to the goddess of the land who led the sacrifices. The river goddess said she can't do anything at the moment for Adana because she was pregnant. Blood must never be let out from her body, until her day of delivery. She later instructed them to go and come back in the 9 months' time. By then, she must have delivered her child and be ready to return what belonged to Adana. Adana's life became a nightmare. She had turned from being called a bad beauty to the bad chestnut girl. Yes, the hair she exchanged with the mermaid has tangled. The silky long hair thrived in the river. The moment it dried, it locked and began to tangle. Adana was now tired of the hair and had begun to cover her head once more with scarves. She no longer cared for the hair. And after 9 months, she returned to the river with more sacrifices laid by the land goddess. As promised, the river goddess, the mermaid, rose from the depths of the river. But she had given birth. She gave birth to 7 children, all males. It was a surprise that her children have grown into full adults, but they were still sucking. The 7 mermaids surrounded the river goddess and sucked her large, once pointed breasts. They sucked as she spoke with Adana and her leader. Adana could not believe her eyes. Her once large pointed breasts have collapsed like a mud house. They have fallen and flapped on the river mermaid's belly. The 7 mermaids have sucked the life out of the poor breasts. They were no longer attractive. The mermaid pleaded once more to be given little time to complete breastfeeding her 7 children and asked them to come after the New Yam festival. Adana, on hearing New Yam festival, which will come in another 9 months' time, slumped by the riverside. Who will look at her and accept her with the weak, flat breast? you enjoyed our story. Please support us by dropping your view. What are the moral lessons for these stories? Tell us in the comment section what you learned from these stories. You have learned something. Number one, from this story, we learn to be proud of how we are created and never belittle ourselves, like Adana. Number two, we should try by all means to protect our God-given beauty and do not trade it for anything. The third lesson we can draw from this story is, anyhow you see yourself, anyhow you are created, there is a special purpose you are created to fulfill. Adana was given a bad head because it was destiny that one day she will represent a brand that will take her far and change her life. But she has refused to see it, and she has lost that purpose, the divine purpose in her life. The fourth lesson we can draw from this story is, everyone is wonderfully and fearfully made. The way you are made is wonderful. The way I am made, I am wonderful. Be proud of yourself. Thank you for listening. Subscribe and bye.